Have you ever felt trapped in a storm of endless thoughts? That constant overthinking is like an invisible thief, quietly stealing your peace of mind and leaving your head in chaos. We often get stuck replaying the past, regretting what we cannot change, worrying about a future that hasn't arrived, or analyzing every little detail of the present until we're exhausted. If you're tired of living this way and long to find inner calm, then this is exactly where you need to be. Buddhist wisdom carried through thousands of years offers timeless lessons that can free us from the prison of our thoughts and lead us back to stillness. In this video, I'll share with you 6 profound teachings from Buddhism, guiding you toward a calmer, lighter, and more mindful life. Let's dive in and discover this source of wisdom together. Lesson 1. The past is gone. The future hasn't come yet. The present is all that truly exists. So often we find ourselves caught in memories. Some people live with regret guilt, or longing for what can never return. Others let the anxiety of the future weigh them down, constantly fearing what might go wrong, worrying about the unknown, or over-preparing for endless what-ifs. But here's the truth. The past has already slipped away, and the future isn't here yet. The only moment that is real, the only time you truly have, is now. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." These words remind us to release the grip of regrets and fears, and instead anchor ourselves in the one time that actually exists, the present. Think about it, the very moment you're listening to these words is the only moment that belongs to you. All of life unfolds here. Joy, clarity, and peace can only be experienced when you allow yourself to be fully present. Once you stop drifting into the past or rushing into the future, a natural sense of calm will rise within you. There's a Buddhist story that illustrates this beautifully. A wise monk and his young student came across a river. The monk calmly stepped into the water and crossed with ease. The student, however, was paralyzed by fear, constantly imagining being swept away by the strong current. Seeing his student hesitate, the monk smiled and said, "The river will always flow, but the only way to cross it is to be present with each step and trust the moment." That lesson is for all of us too. Instead of drowning in fear or chasing endless thoughts, choose to come back to the present. Because only when you live fully in the now can you touch the deep serenity that has always been waiting inside you. Lesson 2. Thoughts are like clouds. Let them pass without holding on. How often do we feel buried under the weight of our own thoughts, as if we're drowning in a storm we can't escape? The mind becomes crowded, heavy, like a sky full of thunderclouds. But the Buddha invites us to see our thoughts differently, not as something solid or permanent, but as passing clouds drifting across an open sky. Thoughts are fleeting, constantly changing, never fixed. He once said, "With our thoughts, we create the world." The message here is not to cling to every thought or confuse them with who we are. Thoughts may appear, but they do not define us. Just like clouds, they come and they go. Imagine sitting quietly by a riverbank, watching the water flow. Leaves float down the stream, one after another. You don't reach out to snatch every leaf. You simply let them drift away, knowing new ones will appear. That's exactly how we can relate to our thoughts. Let them arise, let them fade, without grabbing hold or trying to control them. When you practice this, you'll notice something powerful. Overthinking begins to lose its grip. A calm space opens up inside you. As the Buddha taught, our life is shaped by our mind, for we become what we think. By letting go of restless, negative, or obsessive thoughts, We allow our lives to be shaped by clarity and peace instead of confusion and fear. Lesson 3. Overthinking multiplies suffering release. What you cannot control. Here's a truth we often forget. The more we overthink, the more we suffer. We replay endless scenarios, analyze every detail, and exhaust ourselves trying to prepare for problems that might never come. Worst of all, we tighten our grip on things completely beyond our control. And what happens? Anxiety grows, stress deepens, peace slips even further away. The Buddha offered a liberating insight. Suffering doesn't come from outside events themselves, but from the way we respond to them. It is not the storm, but how we meet it that determines whether we find peace or despair. When we obsess over things we cannot change, we are, in a sense, inviting unnecessary pain into our lives. The key to freedom is letting go of the illusion of control. Life will always bring challenges. Some you can influence, others you cannot. The wisdom lies in knowing the difference. So ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Let it go the way you'd set down a heavy stone you've carried too long. That simple act of surrender opens the door to calmness, breaking the cycle of overthinking and returning you to balance. Lesson 4. Letting go brings true freedom. When we finally release our need to control everything, the mind begins to breathe again. Imagine carrying the weight of a massive boulder, pushing it uphill day after day. Your body aches, your spirit breaks, yet the rock refuses to move. The beloved monk, Thich Nhat Hanh, once told a story of such a person straining endlessly to move an immovable stone. After watching their suffering, he gently asked, "Why do you keep pushing a boulder that will never move?" If you let go, the path ahead will reveal itself. That story carries a profound truth. Overthinking and resisting reality only drains our energy. Sometimes the most courageous and empowering act is not to fight harder, but to release. When we let go of the impossible, we step out of the prison of worry and finally see a clearer way forward. Lesson 5. Practice mindfulness. Anchor your mind in the breath. Mindfulness is the art of living fully in the present moment, of paying attention with awareness, but without judgment. It doesn't mean silencing all thoughts or forcing the mind to be blank. Instead, it means watching your thoughts and emotions with gentle curiosity without getting swept away. One of the simplest and most powerful ways to practice mindfulness is to focus on the breath. When your thoughts feel overwhelming, come back to your inhale and exhale. Breathe in slowly and deeply. Pause for a moment, then let the breath flow out with ease. Each breath is like an anchor, grounding you in the here and now. The Buddha taught, when the mind is calm, the breath is calm. Breath and mind are deeply connected. By steadying one, you soothe the other. The more you practice, the more your mind learns to stay still and centered. Overthinking begins to lose its control, and you discover a sense of inner peace that no storm of thoughts can shake. Remember, the mind shapes our reality. What we think, we become. Training the mind through mindfulness is like planting seeds of calmness, clarity, and strength. With each breath, you are cultivating the life you truly want to live. Lesson 6. Simplicity is freedom. Stop complicating life with endless worries. In today's world, filled with noise, distractions, and constant demands, it's far too easy to complicate life. We worry about work, about relationships, about our image, about the future, layer upon layer of stress, until we feel crushed by the weight. But Buddhism reminds us of a liberating truth. Simplicity is the gateway to freedom. The Buddha often emphasized that true happiness comes not from adding more, but from needing less. By simplifying our thoughts, our choices, and our way of living, we free ourselves from unnecessary burdens. When life is simple, the heart becomes lighter, and the mind finds room to rest. Ask yourself, what are the worries you can release? What clutter, whether in your environment or in your thoughts, can you clear away? Every act of simplification is like opening a window to let fresh air in. It is through simplicity that peace and joy naturally enter our lives. Lesson 7. Happiness is the path, not something you chase. We often think happiness is something we must chase after, like a goal we need to reach or a destination we must arrive at. But the Buddha teaches us that there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. This means that true happiness isn't somewhere out there waiting for us to find it. It's already present in the small, simple moments of life. When we simplify our lives, let go of excess, and focus on what truly matters, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of overthinking. The Zen monks live by a principle called shibumi, which celebrates the beauty of simplicity. One Zen master wisely said, "The simpler the life, the more profound the meaning." By clearing away mental clutter and focusing only on the essentials, they found a deeper, more peaceful sense of purpose. If we apply this teaching, we can also experience more tranquility and meaning in our own lives. Sometimes the answer to peace isn't in doing more, but in doing less. When we release unnecessary thoughts, we open space for true contentment to grow. Lesson 8. Trust in impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. One of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism is about impermanence. The Buddha reminds us that nothing, not even our struggles, lasts forever. Everything is in a constant state of change. This includes our thoughts, feelings, and even the difficulties we face. When we embrace the truth of impermanence, we realize that even our most persistent fears and anxieties are temporary. The Buddha said, "All conditioned things are impermanent." Strive on with diligence. This wisdom encourages us to trust that both the good and the bad will eventually change. Overthinking often arises from the fear that things will stay the same forever. We may feel trapped in a bad situation or overwhelmed by an emotion, believing it will never end. But when we understand that everything, no matter how difficult, will pass, we can let go of our worries. This brings peace, knowing that nothing is permanent and everything is in constant flux. By recognizing this, we can release the grip of overthinking and trust that change is on its way, bringing new opportunities for growth and healing. Time to take action. Now that you've explored these 6 Buddhist teachings to help stop overthinking, it's time to put them into practice. Embrace the present moment. Let go of unnecessary thoughts. Simplify your life. Trust in the impermanence of all things, knowing that nothing, not even your struggles, will last forever. Remember, your mind is an incredibly powerful tool. With patience and practice, you can train it to focus, stay calm, and find peace. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and share this wisdom with others who may benefit. Let's continue this journey together toward mindfulness, peace, and inner calm. Stay present, stay peaceful, and may you find tranquility in every moment.